At Blackfoot Communications, our mission is to connect people, businesses, and communities, bringing a world-class fiber network to homes, communities, and businesses of all sizes. Ensures Montanans have access to fast, reliable, and secure internet and phone services. Are you ready for fiber internet? To find out if fiber is coming to your area, visit goblackfoot.com/readyforfiber. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications.
All right. Welcome to the weekly press conference. Vandals are coming off of a bye week. Before that, home loss to Montana 23-21. Back in action this week, hosting number 2 Montana State. The Bobcats come in to the game with a 6-1 record. Their only loss coming to South Dakota State. This is the first meeting of the two teams where both teams are ranked. After 45 previous games, 13 games have had one ranked opponent, but not both have not been ranked in any game of the 45. So I'll just go ahead and open up to Coach Eck, and if you guys have any questions, and then there's a few people online. We'll go in-house questions first, and then go to online. All right.
Thanks, Jarek. Excited. Got a great challenge, but again, with great challenge comes great opportunity. I think this Montana State team is excellent. What Coach Vegan has done there over the last few years is really impressive. Really been a national power, and it's easy to see why. Very good on offense and defense. Lead the conference in scoring on offense and in scoring defense. So really impressive team. Good on special teams. Had a big blocked punt against South Dakota State that was really a big play in the game. So going to be a great challenge. I think their quarterbacks are tremendous. Both of them are very good, runners and throwers. I think that's, one of the keys is trying to hold those guys in check. But very good football team coming to town, and excited that we're going to have another great crowd here. And we feel like didn't play the way we were capable of in our last game. And I think it's going to take, us really playing a full 4-quarter game of our best football to have an opportunity to win this game. So, open it to questions.
Coach, when you look back at the tape from that Montana game, do you see a specific thing that changed that you guys were able to kind of wake up after the start you guys had?
I think we executed better. We tackled better on defense. We were able to get them into some 3rd and longs where we were able to rush the passer. Keyshawn had a big sack in that game. I think matched their effort and intensity. I think early in the game, they out-physicaled us. And again, so we can't let that happen again. This is a very, very physical team we're playing this week, so we got to play a very physical brand of football to compete with that. On offense, I think we got a little spark when we started adding, some tempo in and, keeping them off balance. I think that simplified some of their blitz packages. But we played just better, as the game went on. And I was very proud of the team, even though we lost the game. We showed a lot of toughness, I think, battling and making it a game where we had a chance to win at the end.
And coming off your bye week, where do you guys kind of stand health-wise? Were you able to kind of shore up some injuries there?
Yeah, I think we're going to get Malachi Williams back in some extent, probably not playing every down, but to help us there. Merv will be further along. Some guys like Tagana, who got hurt in the Montana game, is back, will be full practice participant today. So, I think having that bye week was, well-placed to get some guys healthy.
And, heading into this game, obviously a big key is going to be stopping the run. You mentioned Tommy and Chambers. Just kind of what's the big challenge with trying to scheme up their offense?
Well, they got a great O-line. Al Johnson, their O-line coach, does a great job with those guys, and, very physical, experienced O-line. I think they're good. They don't because they run it so well, they don't have to drop back a ton, but they're good in protection too when they drop back. So just really a good offensive line. I think that's the starting point. And then, the quarterbacks are each a little different. Tommy's so fast. He can really get to the perimeter and make things happen, just run away from guys. Chambers is a load. When I met him at the Big Sky kickoff, I knew who Chambers was, but I didn't have a name with a face. When I first met him, I figured he was a D end or something because he's a humongous human being. So he's really physical with the downhill runs and tough to stop. When they get to 3rd and 1, it's tough to get those guys off the field. They're very good with him, falling forward and that stuff. So their weapons, and I think their backs are good. They've played a few different guys, and they've had some injuries at back. But Julius Davis, who transferred from Wisconsin, is a very good player. Jared White, number 1, will play some back. Marquis Johnson, their freshman, is a good player too. Scott Trey Humphrey. So their talent in the backfield, good up front, good schemes. Using the quarterbacks in the run game. I thought they did some good stuff. Every week they do some good stuff, particularly like some of the stuff they did last week in Sac State. So I'd say that's the key. They've rushed for 300 yards in 6 of their games this year. I think South Dakota State's the only one you'd say they held them under 300, but that was still 211. So no one's really done a great job of taking away the run. I think South Dakota State was able to just bleed a little slower than the other teams.
And when you look at their defense, obviously they had the 2 big turnovers last week. Their DB was the Big Sky Defensive Player of the Week. Just kind of, what challenges do they pose as a defensive unit?
They play very hard. I think they're very sound. They're not a huge pressure team. I think overall, it's a relatively modest percentage, a lot different than Montana that way, but play very good sound football. I think their D-line stands out to me. I think 95, Valdez is a really good player. Brody, number 10, is a really good player at defensive end. Physical in the back end, they'll come up and hit you and tackle. 8 is a good player. He was out last week. Lavelle Price Jr., so I'm not sure if he'll be back, but I thought he was a very good player on tape as well. So fly around sound, do a good job of creating turnovers. They'll mix, play a lot of single high coverage, but they'll mix in some cover 2 variations. They'll play a mix of man and cover 3. They like to get number 26 down in the box. Rylan Ort, he's a pretty good tackler. They like to try to get him down in the box to stop the run. So, not quite as many identification problems, but they're just good at playing sound defense, getting off blocks, play extremely hard.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned, Sean Chambers and Tommy Malotto. Sean didn't play a lot last week. Tommy would have the impact in that game. But how do you guys prepare for a dual quarterback system?
Well, I think you got to, really be prepared for, when Tommy's in, what they like to do with Tommy, when Sean's in, what they like to do with Sean, and then what they like to do with both of them in the game. They did a lot of that late last year, early this season. Tommy had to battle some injuries, but he looked full speed last week. He looks like he's back to 100%. But it's a little different. Again, they have some unique stuff they can do with, the 2 quarterbacks in the game that are some quarterback run. Sometimes they snap it to one quarterback, hand it to the other quarterback, and then he throws. So they have some really creative stuff they do with their offense that is tough to defend. But we, just a starting point, we got to identify and get it communicated who's in the game, so we can kind of be alerted for what packages they like to run. With each guy, I think they're a little different. Like I said, Chambers is like a battering ram. I think they like to run a lot of real downhill plays with him, get his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, let him break tackles. Tommy, I think they like a little bit more on, the read game and getting outside and, some perimeter type runs with him. If he's, they'll motion him and hand him the ball in a jet sweep and get him out on space, kind of like, some stuff we've done with, JJ over time. So, both very good players, different, but both can hurt you with their feet and hurt you throwing.
Yeah, Coach, it's been difficult really for Montana State to travel to the Kibbie Dome and pick up a win. How much impact do you think the crowd, especially with it being parents and families, is going to have on Saturday?
Well, I hope it gives us a great edge. They have a great home crowd there, and you look at the games that are in their stadium. The crowd certainly affects the other team. I think they're offensive linemen are laid off the ball, so hopefully we can create that here. I thought our fans did a great job last game of impacting the game. I think we got to handle it better though. We got to make sure the crowd and the atmosphere doesn't affect us in getting too hyped up and avoiding some unforced errors, whether it's jumping off sides or having a false start or snapping the ball in the wrong cadence. I think we got to settle in, and I'm hoping having our second game with a sellout crowd, we're kind of used to that, and we can handle our nerves a little bit that way. And I got to do a better job, number one, just getting the guys prepared for that moment. But You look at the South Dakota State game, they had some false starts and stuff with a great crowd there. So we need your crowd. We need you to be loud and into the game because, I think their one loss, the crowd definitely affected that. They had a first and goal at the 1 yard line and had to kick a field goal. And a big part of that was they got a false start, that moved them back, and they had to settle for a field goal after they blocked that punt, set them up in real good field position. So it ended up being, I think they ended up kicking the field goal to tie the game rather than taking the lead if they could have punched it in from the one.
Yeah, speaking of special teams, they have a 6'9" kicker. If you could just talk about that a little bit, kind of what that brings on the special teams.
He's got long levers, man. He's got a strong leg. He missed the one, right before the half, but it looked like he had enough leg to kick it from, about 60. So, I'm sure he'll be excited to play in the dome and things like that. But, again, I think their special teams are well coached. Again, their punt block unit probably concerns me the most, but they're well coached in all their special teams and do a good job. A lot of prideful guys there that play really hard and play their ass off.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
Obviously, at the end of the game there, Hayden had a huge second half for you guys, but the two kind of freak plays there at the end. Is there anything you kind of have to say to him? I know he's a confident player, but to just kind of move past that heading into this week.
With Hayden?
Yeah.
With the onside kick or with what?
Yeah, the onside kick and then tripping when he was trying to make something happen there on the 2-point.
Yeah, things happen where guys slip, and that happens. Again, and it was no guarantee that it was a walk-in if he didn't slip. It would have been a contested play at the goal line, and then it was really bad coaching by me on the onside kick, because again, I wasn't even exactly sure what the rule was, and we hadn't prepared him well for that. I think he thought he had to be behind the line, which he was with his feet, but his upper body broke the play. And I thought it was a great play. That was a great effort. So, again, he should have no, and I don't think he does have any lingering, bad feelings. If not for him, we would have never gotten it to a one possession game like we did at the end.
And heading into this game, obviously coming off a loss 2 weeks ago, with all the this game rides on with postseason implications and Big Sky implications, how do you kind of just keep your guys focused on the task and not putting too much pressure on this game?
Well, I just think we have to focus on the task at hand, and again, not get too caught up in the moment, which might have been an issue a little bit last week. With the Montana game, I think we got to focus on what happens between the lines and not worry about the crowd. Stay focused in on what's going on in the field and not worry about the implications, and just focus on the next play and make sure we're playing really hard the next play. We're focused on our assignment the next play, and we're playing really physical on the next play.
And my last one for you, Jackson in that Montana game really shined there at the end. He had those 2 huge tackles for loss. What have you kind of seen from him, especially having to maybe step up with a couple of those guys getting nicked up in games and being able to make plays like that as a freshman?
I was proud of him as a coach, and as a dad. He did a good job, and we made some changes. We knew they were going to run it a lot in the second half, and I think going against the run is probably more his forte right now than going against the pass. So I think he did a good job, stepping up and making some big tackles that helped us, get some stops and, give us a chance to get the ball back and have a chance at the end of the game. So, he did a good job. I think we gave the axe last game to Keyshawn and Hayden, but then the offense and defensive players were Vonnie and Jackson. And, good to see when you have a young player who can step up and take advantage of their opportunities. And, when he plays at Mike, we've had some injuries with our backup Sams. I think Matthias is back to 100% now, but Trey was a guy who played a lot of Sam back at South Dakota, and Isaiah King has battled a hamstring all year. That he's a guy who's probably going to be out. I think he only put 1 snap on defense last week, but just can't get over the hamstring. Keeps re-aggravating it. So having Trey be able to bounce out there to Sam can give Matthias some blows, and I always think it's good when you can play a lot of guys and keep them fresh and keep them playing hard. What do we have online there? Victor, you got a question? Hold on, Victor. I'm muted. Let me unmute you. All right, Victor, I think we got you now.
Okay, cool. Kind of just with the offensive line on your side again. I mean, anything else you guys learned sort of during the bye week or after that Montana game about the pressure and anything you guys have kind of, I guess, lessons you've taken from all that pressure in the Montana game?
Well, we got to keep. We got to keep bringing our offensive line along and improving them. I think the nature of that game went where we had to throw it a lot more than we ran it is really, not how we'd ideally like to play. We prefer to be much more balanced in that. I do think, we struggled at sometimes with blitz pickup and things. Now, I have a feeling Montana State is going to kind of do what they do. Maybe they'll pressure us a little bit more, but I wouldn't expect to see them go to a 50% pressure team when they're usually like 13, 14%, because I think their recipe works for them and what they like to do. But we got to keep bringing that group along. We got to find a way to run the ball better, and I think it was probably a combination of us not running the ball great early, and also just the score, getting down. Because they scored their first 4 possessions and being down 20-0. Probably those two combined things led us to, getting away from running the ball as much as we wanted to. But certainly we got to find a way to run the ball this week. We got to be able to eat up clock and keep their offense off the field because their offense is so good. And we got to continue to get those guys developed. I thought it was positive. True freshman, stepped in, Leighton Vining last week after Tagana got hurt, and we were able to, he was in there for our 2 second-half scoring drives, and he did a good job. He snapped it always in the right count, and had a few busts, but probably played as good as I thought a true freshman, lineman could play, being in his first game with kind of key snaps. So that was encouraging. But getting Tagana back. Nate has a party, and Abe at guard. I think we'll have some little rotations in there. Jack Foster's a guy who's practicing well. I think Charlie Valim even practiced really good last week. And, I think those guys are going to have a chip on their shoulder to play better than they did in the Montana game. And we're going to need it because, again, this is a good defensive front we're playing against.
Yeah, and I don't know how you are with injury updates since we only really cover the Cats over here, but anything else from a availability standpoint that you haven't mentioned? Any new developments, I guess, since the last time?
Isaiah King, we're going to hold him out. He needs more time to get this hamstring healed up, and then, like I said, getting Malachi back. Malachi was an early season starter, going into the season who got hurt in the Cal game and has not played, but we expect him to be back in some capacity. Mervyn Kenyon came back last week, but I think he'll be able to play a lot more. He was a starter who got injured in the Nevada game and had not played until till the Montana game. But I think with the extra time, he'll be good. So we'll be, as good as you can be health-wise this year. I think it helped Therese Trainer having a little time off to rest a little bit because he's got a nagging thing that's been bothering him. But it was good timing for our bye week to get healed up. We'll come into this game pretty healthy. Eli Sanchez, I said this after the press conference, but again, he had a knee surgery and is going to be out for the year, who was a starter in the O-line for us. But he was out last week, too.
Yeah, and then last one for me is Keyshawn and James Newby. I think you mentioned him, but, obviously a Montana guy, went to Montana Tech before coming to you guys. He's been playing great, it seems, at least on the paper so far this season. What has impressed you most about him, and just how happy are you that you were able to kind of steal him from the Montana schools?
He's done a great job, and proud of him. He's probably been through the first 7 games on our schedule the best player in our front 7. Been very good getting pressure. He's got 5 sacks on the year. He's got a sack in each of the conference games. And he's been good against the run, too. So he's not just a situational pass rush guy who can just rush the passer. He's done a good job, getting off blocks and being active in the run game. So definitely been one of our best defensive players and been great to add him on. And nice to steal a guy from Montana to come over, though he is an Idaho native. He was born in Pocatello and grew up in Pocatello till I think his sophomore year in high school was his first year in Helena. Who's our last one there? Ben? Is that Ben Creighton or?
just a fly on the wall today, Coach.
No questions?
No, myself and the rest of the broadcast crew, I'm sure we'll have a ton for you later this week when we get you one-on-one.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thanks so much. Big one. We need all you fans there. I know you turned out and didn't get the outcome you wanted last week, but we need you again. Come to the game, make a difference. Should be a great environment seeing 2 top 10 teams playing. V's up. Thanks, guys.
DUI or misdemeanor conviction? If so, don't let your past hold you back. Hi, I'm attorney Dave Maldonado, and you may be eligible to have your record cleared today. Visit BigSkyDefender.com to see how.